There we go. There we go. All right. Okay, sorry about that, folks. I lost my internet the minute, I just started streaming and I lost my internet. And I don't know why. Anyway, all right, I'm getting back. I'm getting hooked back up. Wow. Yeah. Oh, you guys are, wow. Everybody in the chat. Yep, looks like you guys were handling it very, very well. I mean, oh my gosh. So, yeah. Oh, geez, I must like repeat myself over and over and over again. Anyway, hi guys. Sorry about that. I just, crap happens sometimes, and unfortunately I lost the internet, and of course the internet kind of killed me. Let's see if this is going. Yeah, there we go. Oh, all right. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, well, now that I'm here, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Tonight we're gonna, you guys definitely know the plan for sure. Yeah. They're still going through my what is actually going to be the ad for tonight. Anyway, all right. So you guys are definitely what is this? Where did this come from? Let's see. This is X. There we go. All right. Oh my gosh. Nothing worked. It like dropped right as soon as I came on, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I got to start doing my thing," and yeah, everything just dropped. All of it. Facebook, the whole 9 yards. Everything dropped on me, and anyway, so all right, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Yeah, page. Okay, you guys have done the pledge. Well, you're going to listen to it anyway, because this is the NJY girls youth band that is going to play this. So let's go ahead, and if you are of mine, please stand or remove your hat if you're wearing one like me. Place your hand over your heart and join in with the NJY girls youth band and recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah.
All right. And of course, I thank them for submitting that. For submitting that. And of course, if you want to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting the pledge in your style, and then take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and send it off to me. Send it to fans, FANS, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, FANS, at AmericanPerspective.online. Wow, you guys are fantastic, I'm telling you. But you guys were right. Here we go. Tonight's headline sponsor is the Institute on the Constitution, which was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission, and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online, to sign up, and while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is iotc.americanperspective.online to get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online. Or if you just want to purchase this fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show, Go to constitution.americanperspective.online. Take a look at this wonderful item. It's got a 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. And inside, they don't use glue. They got it stitched all the way through the leather. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and manufacturing defects, such that if something does go wrong, you can send it back to the manufacturer and they will either fix it or replace it for free. It is buddy tested, buddy approved, Billy tasted, Billy approved. My youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the contents contained within will help you to study for your civics badge in Scouts. It'll also help you study for your civics exam. Go to constitution.americanperspective.online and get your sexy, rounded corner, Democrat, repelling, and all the amendments are in numerical order. You can get yours today. So go and check them out. Go and check out the Institute on the Constitution at the same time. And I appreciate them for allowing me to be a brand affiliate. Okay, here we go. Whew. Wow. I think that's the fastest I've gone through all of those at the same time, but I'm trying to catch up. We've lost a couple of minutes. Okay, well, I'm going to start you off tonight with an FAFO file. This is the FAFO file. Our neighbors to the south, and by that I mean the state of Oregon, but our neighbors to the south, yeah, they they love a good, or what they consider to be a good riot. They do. They love it down there. I think they just live to riot. And granted, doesn't happen when there's Democrats who are in place, but they love to riot. Well, this time, the agents of ICE and federal agents took no mercy on these folks. Let me go ahead and, oh my goodness. See, I get so distracted at times when I have problems, but here we go. Let's see, did that? Yeah, there it is. All right, Portland anti-ICE riot was crushed by federal agents. So here is a little bit of video from that. Let's take a look. This is about 4 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but let's just take a look at some of this.
Officers come around.
Oh, there we go. Yep. Officers immediately are firing what appear to be tear gas rounds and stuff like that. They're not playing. They're dispersing the, well, there goes a firework that some moron shot off. And now they're starting to yep, they're backing people up. Yeah, the riot crowd tried to fire off some fireworks, and yeah, the ICE agents are not, they're not playing around. They got a hold of somebody already. They've got like 2 or 3 people on the ground. They're wrapping up. They've got them in the dirt, on the ground. Now, yeah, they're coming out. This was all part of an ICE detention center, dispute or whatever, and yeah. So there we go. Yep. The thing about it is that that these people seem to misunderstand. Oh, I gotta take this. Sorry. The thing about it is that these people seem to have a lack of understanding of is basically the fact that was an illegal protest, and now that they fired off their own munitions, like the fireworks, in an attempt to try and harm somebody, they went ahead and they FA'd and they FO'd. So the federal agents used non-lethal munitions to shut down a large group of protesters who tried to block the law enforcement vehicles. Once again, I'm just going to point out Title 8 or Title 18? I can't remember which one of them. But one of the three, 111, if you're trying to prevent them from doing their job, yeah, they can arrest you right then and there. You're breaking the law. And that's it. So the agents, of course, deployed rubber bullets, tear gas, and flashbangs to disperse the crowd who had swamped the compound, according to the video captured by Turning Point USA's Frontlines. It was the latest in a series of protests outside of ICE buildings, in this particular case, in Portland, Oregon, which is a sanctuary city, which have raged for about a week and a half. Yeah, well, they're not playing around. They kicked them to the curb. Hundreds of mostly masked protesters had marched on the streets before sunset, some holding signs reading, nobody is illegal on stolen land. Really? We're not, last I checked, the land that we're on was not stolen. It was conquered, but it was not stolen. Anyway, protect immigrants and refugees was another sign. Several were wearing the keffiyeh, which is the Palestinian, black and white or blue and white scarf thing. It's often a symbol associated with left-wing protest movements. They gathered right outside of Macadam Avenue and could be seen trying to block the entrance. And, despite multiple warnings to disperse, the protesters refused to leave, and so the officers in riot gear then advanced and started firing tear gas and all of the other stuff. So, there you go. And Homeland Security, of course, cited the need to clear the area so that several government vehicles could exit safely. Oh, folks, I'm just telling you, this administration in particular is not going to take any of this crap anymore. They're just not. They're not going to take a single thing of crap off these people. These people have gotten away with so much crap that they're just, yeah. So they don't know how many people were actually arrested in total. Fox News Digital reached out to Homeland Security for a comment, but didn't receive a response immediately. The Portland Police Bureau said it arrested 2 people during the broader demonstration. Eduardo Diaz, who was 22, was cited for unlawfully directing a laser pointer at federal officers and later booked on a U.S. Marshal's hold, while Mariana Rivera Loza, 19, was arrested for criminal trespass near the Portland ICE facility after ignoring multiple warnings and carrying a shield. The Portland Police Bureau said it doesn't engage in immigration enforcement. It was responsible for maintaining public safety around the protest. Yeah. Anyway, these guys are going to, eventually these folks are going to end up figuring out that this is not going to work. It really isn't. And when you have messaging from leadership, Democrat dumbass leadership, like this one, like this message, which, by the way, I want to know, what message do you think this actually demonstrates? Here in the Daily Fetch, New Yorkers fume as Governor Hochul promises $50 million for illegal migrants' legal fees. They're here illegally. Why are you attempting to try and pay for their legal fees? Give me a break. Seriously. Seriously. Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul of New York has angered New Yorkers after vowing to provide taxpayer-funded support for illegal aliens who want to remain in the country. In a clip posted on social media, Hochul announced the state of New York will pay $50 million in legal fees for migrants. The illegal aliens are walking out of this courthouse, taken away from their families. They don't have the attention. They don't have the lawyers, Hochul told the media. She then announced that these individuals would be receiving legal help to stay in the country. And that's why the state of New York is providing $50 million to cover legal services for people who are finding themselves in this situation. I'd like to know where these people are getting, where New York is getting this money. I really do. Because New Yorkers who pay taxes are now seeing their money being used to help people that many people believe shouldn't be here in the first place. Again, this is like an 80-20 kind of situation. 80% of the people, a minimum, 80% of the people think that all of these people should be leaving, that they don't need to be here. They're here illegally. And by the way, anyone who sits here and tells me, oh, no, an illegal alien isn't a criminal, they broke the law, hence the word illegal. Don't know why you can't seem to understand and comprehend English anymore. Well, of course, that's because our leftist lunatic education system has decided to not teach you the proper terminology for everything. But according to the New York Post, or according to a poll, by the New York Post, Hochul would be in an extremely close race with New York Republican Representative Elise Stefanik in a hypothetical matchup. So this announcement is suggesting that her announcement of paying $50 million in legal fees for these illegals could significantly damage Hochul's re-election chances in 2026. Now, the survey itself also revealed that Hochul holds a low 30% approval rating among a sample of 1,163 likely voters. Additionally, 55% of voters said that they want someone else in office, according to numbers from the Siena College Research Institute. And less than half of Democrats would support Hochul in a primary. Folks, God, I mean, seriously. Keep going, Democrats. Keep going on this issue. Keep pushing this idea that illegals are the way to go, that they're going to back you up, because honestly, I mean, this is not a popular issue. The popular issue is to get these people out of here. The popular issue is to not spend taxpayer dollars, which is sorely needed right now, to pay down debt, to pay down our interest, to do all these other wonderful things and not pay this stuff. So, anyway, the Manhattan Institute also found that many New York City residents are increasingly upset about the city's policies toward illegal immigration. As the Western Journal reported, 54% of New Yorkers believe the city's policies toward illegal immigrants, meaning aliens, are, quote, too soft. Too soft. Yeah. So, yep, people are pissed, and they're going to keep being pissed. So, yeah. I don't know where they're going with this. I really don't. I mean, they're fighting an uphill battle on this entire situation. Illegal immigrants, for whatever reason, maintain a high priority for these folks. I just don't get it. And the public itself is like, they're pissed about it. The numbers are starting to come in, and they're indicating that there might be a political shift in blue New York. Could very well be on the horizon if they keep pushing it. Guys, I'm telling you, please keep that. Please keep that up. Well, it's not just Democrats in certain states that are having problems. Yes, the DNC is back again in the headlines. Apparently, now this is pretty bad. I'm just going to say this for certain. It is pretty damn bad when your sycophantic mainstream media outlet, the New York Times, who basically laps up whatever is dropping, everything on the floor. They just basically suck it up, and, they love it. They like lap dogs or dogs underneath the table of the DNC, and they're just like, yeah, let's just do this. Well, apparently the New York Times has identified that, they have some problems, even more trouble than just losing Randy Weingarten. They also have apparently a cash flow problem. So here's the New York Times headline: the DNC is in chaos and is desperate for cash. Really? So, well, let's see. They got rid of Vice Chair David Hogg. AFT leader Randy Weingarten said she's had enough. And there's also another person who has said that they've had enough. In addition to Weingarten, Lee Saunders, who is the president of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, declined to continue in his at-large seat. So there goes another big labor leader. So labor is starting to move away from the Democrats. So here from the New York Times, just months into a tenure of a new party leader, Ken Martin, the Democrat National Committee's financial situation has grown so bleak that top officials have discussed whether or not they need to borrow money this year to keep paying the bills. I guess that $20 million or whatever it was that you gave Kamala Harris for her campaign, her destructive campaign that's out there. Yeah. Anyway, fundraising from some major donors, some of whom Mr. Martin has still not even spoken with, has slowed sharply. At the same time, he has expanded his party's financial commitments to every single state and to even far-flung territories like Guam. Fellow Democrats are grumbling that Mr. Martin, who quietly accepted a raise after taking the post, has been badly distracted by internal battles. So far, they say, he has been unable to help unite his party against Republicans who control the federal government. Yeah. The New York Times piece continues. Mr. Martin had offered to keep the two top union leaders as members of the DNC, but he would not renew their plum assignments on the powerful Rules and Bylaws Committee, which controls how the party nominates its presidential candidates. The Hogg episode also consumed and exasperated party leaders for close to 2 months. Yeah. So Representative Mark Pocan, P-O-C-A-N, called the Hogg-Martin fight worse than a high school student council drama. Well, but of course, I mean, if we look at the Democrats today, they're consumed with drama and embracing illegal aliens. So the Times story continued and said 6 people briefed on the party's fundraising who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss its finances frankly, said that big donors who are an essential part of the party's funding have been very slow to give to the party this year as Mr. Martin solicits contributions. Yeah. Huh. So apparently the DNC is reliant upon those big billionaire donors that they keep saying that the Republicans are giving tax breaks to. You know, if it weren't for hypocrisy, I just don't see how the DNC could actually survive, how the Democrats could actually survive. I mean, they sit here and they talk about, they sit here and they talk about how the Republicans are the party of billionaires and that they give tax breaks to billionaires. Hell, if I was relying on billionaires for my donations, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's sign up and get them a tax break, because maybe they'll take that money and funnel it back into my organization, meaning the DNC. Yeah. Anyway, Martin said that it wasn't their plan at this point to borrow, and he insisted their grassroots fundraising was strong. Yeah, really. It is, huh? Apparently, he also has started a new streaming show on YouTube called The Daily Blueprint that the Times described as having high-end production. But it's gotten very little viewership, with some shows getting fewer than 1,000 views. Yeah, that's kind of sort of like this show. And my budget is literally however much I pay and whatever you guys, donate through other things. Believe me, I am not a big budget person. I don't have a huge budget here at all. Oh, it's really not looking all that good for these guys. It really, really is not. Well, speaking of money, another left-wing organization, Paramount, another leftist organization, Paramount, is attempting to delay its $35 million settlement with Trump as the media giant fears bribery backlash, according to certain sources. This also in the New York Post. So a potential $35 million settlement of the Trump lawsuit against Paramount's CBS affiliate has been delayed after the company's management continued to fear a potential legal backlash, the Post has learned. So Paramount's hesitancy, apparently, to make this actual deal has prompted members of the Trump legal team to maintain its initial bargaining position and demand even more money to end the protracted legal dispute. So this has been going on for a while, and the two sides do remain in active settlement negotiations, according to a regulatory filing. And there is always a potential deal that could break free, of course. But the thing about it is that a $35 million settlement was recently floated and considered by both sides, according to the two sources, as negotiations over the $20 billion lawsuit entered into the sixth month. Now, the impasse, of course, threatens to throttle a bigger prize, which media heiress Sherry Redstone owns controlling interest in Paramount. And she wants to sell to the independent studio called Skydance, according to this report. And here's the thing. Approval of the deal by Trump's regulators at the FCC is seen as a contingent on the settlement of the case, the people at Paramount tell the Post. Trump's legal representatives and officials deny that the two issues are related, but Paramount executives are concerned that any large settlement would be considered a bribe, since the fate of the $8 billion Paramount Skydance merger is at stake. So, yeah. This is kind of interesting. They're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. In order for Paramount to sell to Skydance, they have to get FCC approval for that to happen. And Trump currently technically runs the FCC. And so if they go and settle for $35 million out of court, that could be considered a bribe, and that could be a bit of a problem, and it would be a shadow. You know what would solve all of this is if CBS News would just say, you know what? Yeah, we did this, we did that, whatever. Here, we'll pay whatever kind of fines and so on and so forth, and publicly acknowledge the fact that they doctored the Kamala Harris interviews, put out the full interview unedited, and say, here you go, and just fall on the freaking sword. I mean, seriously. Just fall on the sword. So one deal insider told the Post that the Trump people appeared to be willing to settle for less than the original $50 million $50 million settlement fee that or settlement agreement that Trump's legal team had tried to squeeze out of the company to end the lawsuit. And they seemed, according to the deal insiders, the Trump folks seemed willing to settle for less, which would have been the $35 million. However, but even that amount worries the Paramount people. Yeah. They're kind of on the... Now, a source close to the Trump legal team denied that it was on the verge of settling for $35 million. So this thing's going to drag on and on. That's the Redstone lady right there, by the way. She's she's the controlling shareholder, and she stands to net as much as $2 billion to unload Paramount to Skydance. So, Paramount spokesperson declined to comment. Legal rep for Trump did not return a request for comment, and the Redstone rep also did not return a request for comment. So, Paramount's continued reluctance to pay a significant settlement, though, even one lower than Trump's people had initially sought, hardened the president's legal team's position and could create a situation where the case just remains in court for a protracted period. So the lawsuit, just as a reminder, alleged the CBS longtime news program 60 Minutes doctored an interview with Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris. Yeah. And she did. I mean, they did. Let's just face it. They did. That's why they're trying to settle out of court. I mean, they know that they got caught. They know. They know they got caught. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway. People. Oh, if they'd have just agreed or whatever afterward, I mean, yeah, it's just, anyway. Several Democrats in Congress, by the way, have raised the bribery issue. So Democrats eating their own right here, and the worry is that a state attorney general or Congress, if it changes hands in the midterms, could launch an investigation into it. Yeah. So this is why they're dragging it out. This is exactly why they're dragging it out. Anyway. Yeah. So, we'll just have to see how this thing comes out. Well, I don't know if anybody is ever tried to go over to the Twitter knockoff for the leftists called Blue Sky. I don't know if anybody's tried to go there, but apparently Vice President J.D. Vance went ahead and signed in, got an account, and 12 minutes after his first post got banned or suspended. Now, let's be completely honest here, okay? But he essentially got reinstated fairly quickly. And according to Blue Sky, they're saying that the reason why this happened is because of the fact that they have some sort of algorithm that kind of prevents fake accounts and things like that would go. But here's what happened. So JD Vance goes and shares his first post on Blue Sky, and this is what he says. Hello, Blue Sky. I've been told this app has become the place to go for common sense political discussion and analysis. So I'm thrilled to be here to engage with all of you. Next paragraph. To that end, I found Justice Clarence Thomas's concurrence on the medical care for transgender youth quite illuminating. And he included a screenshot of the conservative justice's statement agreeing with the 6-3 ruling. Well, yeah, he continued and says, Vance continues and says, he argues that many of our so-called experts have used bad arguments and substandard science to push experimental therapies on our youth. I might add that many of those scientists are receiving substantial resources from Big Pharma to push these medicines on kids. What do you think? Apparently, that post was enough to piss people off, and within 12 minutes, boop, he was suspended. Oh, man. So Vance announced on X that he had joined the platform Blue Sky. According to Axios journalist Mark Caputo, it was within 12 minutes of that post that I just read to you that, yep, it's gone. The message that came on Vance's Blue Sky page said, "Not found, account has been suspended." Now, the VP's account was reinstated just a few minutes later, and it doesn't appear that the vice president's post actually ran afoul of any of Blue Sky's community guidelines. But we all know Blue Sky is the haven, the echo chamber, the new echo chamber, where these people went. All of the leftists go to listen to themselves talk about how nasty and horrible Republicans are. Anyway, Blue Sky, by the way, apparently saw massive growth after President Trump's 2024 election win. Its user base tripled from 10 million to 30 million between November of 2024 and May of 2025, according to the Pew Research Center. Liberal leaning. Why don't you just say it? Leftist morons who left X flocked to the platform, apparently in search of a more ideologically aligned environment, and several users that were commenting on Vance's Blue Skies post appeared angered that he had actually joined the platform. Oh my gosh, they're so mad. One person fumed and said, "Don't just block, report the account and the posts." Another noted that they had reported the vice president's post for misinformation. What kind of misinformation did he post? I don't know of any misinformation that he posted there. And once again, Blue Sky claimed that the account was suspended over concerns that it was run by an impersonator. They said it was flagged by their automated systems. The account was quickly restored and verified so people can easily confirm its authenticity, a spokesman for the company said. "We welcome the vice president to join the conversation on Blue Sky." Yeah, join the conversation. Sure, Blue Sky, yep, Yeah, they really want that, don't they? Oh my gosh. Anyway, well, a rogue Biden judge has now ignored biological truth and has put in, and this is again another freaking judge, idiot judge, and blocks Trump's common sense passport policy. So here's the thing. Gender ideologies, narratives about sex identity, and the supposed benefits of medical transitioning and collapsed as recent years under the weight of comprehensive scientific studies. Polling also shows that the American public also rejects their core claims and policy aims. So what Trump did is that he basically said, yeah, you can either be male or female. That's it. That's all you can be. And a Biden judge went and blocked the Trump administration from acquiring passports to accurately reflect their biological sex, the holder's biological sex. Well, here's the thing, folks. It's not just here in the U.S. In fact, we don't even use the passport here inside the U.S., but it is used internationally. And there are several other countries that are probably not going to, more than likely, not going to accept the fact that, hey, you're neither male or female. Yeah, that's not going to fly very well. And that's exactly why the passport exists. This is not like an attack on people for this. This is just clear common sense on this whole thing, is that your passport should reflect your biological sex. End of story. That's all there is to it. So anyway, this judge went ahead and said, hey, I'm going to block this. And yeah, so District Judge Julia Kobik granted a preliminary injunction in April preventing the State Department from enforcing Trump's Executive Order 14168 while the lawsuit plays out. But it only applied to 6 of the plaintiffs. So Kobik suggested the plaintiffs' inability to extend their self-deception to their federal documents would make them more likely to experience worsened gender dysphoria, anxiety, and psychological distress, and that they will face greater risk of experiencing harassment and violence. Yeah, I'm serious. Go to a frickin' country that doesn't recognize this crap and see what kind of harassment and violence you get. Anyway, the Massachusetts-based judge then expanded her injunction this past week, yesterday, after the plaintiffs amended their complaint and moved to apply the preliminary injunction to other potentially affected gender benders whom they wanted broadly to be certified as a class. Well, now this was prior to the Supreme Court putting out that opinion that basically said, for over Tennessee, they can't really be classified as a class because they don't have immutable characteristics for this. So, this is going to be quite interesting to see. Well, there was a study done, by the way, speaking of legal situations, there was a study done and that found, at least here according to the Federalist, that 80% of the anti-Trump lawsuits are filed in courts ruled by Democrat appointees. It's an analysis based off of 350 cases that lends credence to the claims that anti-Trump litigants may be strategically filing in courts where they are most likely to receive a favorable ruling. Well, no kidding. So, they basically what's happening is essentially forum shopping. I mean, let's just face it. That's what's going on. They note that 3/4 of the lower court justices who have blocked Trump policies were appointed by Democrats. Gaming the federal justice system, however, is harder than it sounds because plaintiffs bring cases before courts rather than judges. However, most federal courts have a mix of judges that are appointed by Democrats and Republicans. But it seems to be really strange, according to Real Clear Investigations, who analyzed the 350 cases brought against the administration. They found that plaintiffs have brought 80% of those cases before just 11 of the nation's 91 district courts. While Democrat presidents have appointed roughly 60% of all active district court judges, each of the 11 district courts where the anti-Trump challenges have been clustered boasts an even higher percentage of Democrat appointees. So in several of these venues, the administration's challengers are almost guaranteed that a judge picked by Joe Biden, Barack Obama, or Bill Clinton will preside over their case. And you wonder why this whole idea of forum shopping and this whole idea of district court judges overextending their constitutional boundaries, is a problem. This is literally a problem. This is an undermining of the judicial court system for sure. Now, Real Clear Investigations analyses of these 350 cases, which covers all those identified in popular litigation trackers and independent research, as of last week, lends credence to the claim that anti-Trump litigants may be strategically filing suit in courts where they are most likely to receive a favorable ruling, a practice that has both been pursued and decried by both Democrats and Republicans. Yep. The RCI also analyzed 36 cases in which judges imposed the most extreme restraint on the Trump administration by entering a nationwide or universal injunction, which again is unconstitutional. They cannot do that. They are not allowed to do that. And this is part of the reason why the Supreme Court needs to weigh in on this matter. Either that or Congress needs to change the rules, because Congress makes these lower courts. Congress dictates to these lower courts what they can and cannot do. So these injunctions prohibiting the administration from enforcing its policy, not only against the party bringing the case, but anyone, anywhere, which again makes them unconstitutional. The analysis shows that these injunctions have disproportionately emerged from Democrat-leaning courts where the plaintiffs have brought the lion's share of the suits, and that Democrat-appointed judges are overwhelmingly responsible for ordering them. Yep. And this is consistent with other analyses that have done this and indicated all of this. So, yeah. Plaintiffs filed 41% of all cases, 143 in all, in the D.C. District Court. And you wonder why I keep telling you in a D.C. District Court, you will not get a fair court if you are a conservative. This is exactly what I'm talking about. In the D.C. District Court, Democratic presidents have appointed 73% of those active judges. And you wonder why the D.C. District Court is so screwed up. This is why. Anyway. So, given that the federal government is located within its jurisdiction, it's not surprising that the plaintiffs would disproportionately bring cases in the D.C. District Court. The court, however, is seen by some on the right as hostile to President Trump. You think? Anyway, it includes several prominent judges, including Boasberg, Chutkin, and Howell. We've heard all three of those. They have a history of issuing adverse rulings against this president and some of his confidants, including Bannon, Flynn, and Navarro. The court also conducted the January 6 trials, which, of course, we all know was political persecution. So, yeah. Anyway. The point is, folks, that they are definitely shopping. They are definitely shopping for these things. And, yeah. Well, in a bit of good news, on a sad note, the bill that was backed by the assassinated Minnesota lawmaker Hortman has now been signed into law. This from the Daily Wire. This bill that was stripping free health care from illegal aliens in Minnesota was signed into law this week, days after Melissa Hortman was assassinated in what law enforcement says was an act of political violence. Hortman was the lone Democrat to vote for the bill. She gave a tearful explanation to reporters following the vote, saying, "I'll continue," the Sahan Journal reported. She says, "I'll continue to have health insurance, so I'm fine. What I worry about is the people who will lose their health insurance, and I know that people will be hurt by that vote." So these bills were passed concerning the state's budget. All of them, of course, were bipartisan. Minnesotans expect that when Democrats and Republicans are elected to co-govern in the state legislature, that we would compromise and get things done and fund their state government, and that's exactly what we did. So Democrat Tim Walz posted on Tuesday that he signed the final bills. So he signed them. So there you go. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Let's see. In our final moments, You know, all those people who are sitting there talking about people getting a living wage or any of this other stuff that is out there in terms of all this. You guys are talking about squirrels, so here, let me go ahead and give you one. There you go. There's your squirrel. Because they're talking about squirrels, so there's your squirrel. Anyway, so Amazon CEO has finally come out and said what is actually going to happen. His name is Andy Jassy, Jassy. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but he has basically stated in a memo to employees this week that the company expects artificial intelligence to reduce its workforce in the coming years, affecting both white-collar and warehouse workers. The Washington Post, which is kind of interesting because I think the Post is owned by Jeff Bezos, anyway, reports that Amazon, the second largest private employer in the United States, is bracing for a significant shift in its workforce as AI technology advances. In a memo sent to employees on Tuesday, CEO Andy Jassy warned that the company expects AI to reduce its total corporate workforce in the next few years, as technology brings efficiency gains across various departments. See, this is what I've been telling you people. I've been telling people this, and so has my buddy Steven Stiles. Whenever you take and whenever you get to a point, and most of the time what we basically talk about is in terms of this, it has to deal with things like fast food workers and stuff like that, because when you take that minimum wage job and with healthcare and benefits, you put that up against the costs of the costs of what it's going to be for robotics or artificial intelligence driven computers, the cost benefit analysis and return on investment becomes very, very positive toward the AI and the computers. In many cases, especially when you start talking about raising the wages and the benefits across the board, like what these leftists keep trying to push. You know, that $30 an hour may sound great, okay, but in reality, that $30 an hour is actually more along the lines of 45 to almost 50 when you start adding in the benefits, the sick time, the holiday pay, the leave time, so on and so forth, and all of these other things that all the Democrats try and get these companies to add on. And you start taking that and you look at that in relation to the cost of what it takes to install and maintain a computer operated system. And what you end up with is a return on investment value that leans towards that AI and that automated system. This is part of the reason why manufacturing has turned over to robotics in many times. You have repetitive things that get done the exact same way every single time. There's less variance in the application of whatever the task is. There's definitely more repetition, and you don't even have to sit there and have three people on the job to cover a 24-hour shift when you have one singular robot that can do the exact same thing. So all of this wonderful technology that we have developed that is supposedly to make our lives a lot easier and better off is eventually going to take a good portion of our workforce and make it disappear. See, this is part of the reason why having a minimum wage job and only working that minimum wage job and not expanding your own education and skill set is not going to help you in the long run. You're going to have to expand your skill set, your knowledge, your abilities, and everything else in order to get going on all of this. So, there you go. You guys want that minimum wage? Go right ahead. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to Rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure you search up the American Perspective channel, hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. Also, don't forget, I am not transmitting tomorrow, which is Friday, or Saturday. So I will see you Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great weekend, all, and we'll see you on Monday. Good night, everybody.